Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
Go back to hell! St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience. It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate, the rise of the Antichrist, which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Sean Whittington. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house. And that trailer looks too scary. Too scary for me to watch, that's for sure. But mark your calendars. It's Thursday night, June 1st at 10 p.m. on Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, and Max, which is soon going to merge. HBO Max will become Max. But I'm blessed to be a part of that project and really looking forward to it coming out and hoping you all enjoy it. But warning, it's a scary show. So thank you for running that trailer, Zach. But yeah, too scary for me. Okay. Anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And if you go there to visit, click the donate button. Send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you to be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Lots of cool things there, but everything you want to know about us is there. Let's check the prayer urn real quick. Peter Y. from California. I follow you and I too feel a calling to the ministry. Well, God bless you, Peter. Could you pray for my discernment? Well, Peter, let me tell you, you're already getting the discernment. If you're feeling a calling to the ministry, you're already feeling a calling to the, you're already getting your discernment. So I absolutely will say a prayer for you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, send workers for your harvest, so that the precepts of your only begotten Son may always be obeyed, and his sacrifice be everywhere renewed. Look with favor upon your family, and ever increase its numbers. Enable it to lead its sons and daughters to the holiness to which they are called, and to work for the salvation of others. Through Christ our Lord, amen. Peter, please keep me posted on your progress with that. I'm so happy for you, and good luck to you. Let's check the Paranormal Ministry mailbag. Did I get all my... Oh, one left. I did a bunch of those earlier today. Thomas A. Thomas, you didn't put down where you're from. Why do some spirits get stuck here? Can spirits that cross over still visit us? That's a great question. Let me start by Thomas by saying there are no experts in this field. Nobody has all the answers, including yours truly. My humble opinion is that they don't get stuck here. We still have free will on the other side too. So spirits remain here for reasons known only to them, but they're not stuck here. They can cross over whenever they end up deciding to feel like it. Having said that, I do believe that some that have already crossed over have the ability to come back depending on the circumstance and visit. I do believe that I have family relatives that have crossed over that have come by occasionally in visitation. But that's just me. That's what I believe. But there you go. And reach out to me. Let me know where you're from, Thomas. And let me know if you're having some issues with some spirits. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. Okay, listen. If you're having some issues of a spiritual nature, not necessarily attached to the paranormal, I'm also a certified spiritual advisor. On my website, there's a place where you can make an appointment to speak with me. But on the website, there's a page called the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare Course /book. Cool things to buy on that page if you go for that sort of stuff. And everything that you buy, proceeds go to a lot of charities that I support. But scroll down past all that stuff to buy. You'll see my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, scariest book I ever published. That was my publisher, Annette Munich of Stellium Books. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. If you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So that's a no-brainer. You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. And it's a great time to get the book, get all caught up, because this Memorial Day, a couple of weeks away, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2, my second book, comes out. Both books you'll be able to buy on the website. They come autographed, enclosed in a house blessing kit. Both books will also be available on Amazon for a little less expensive. But that's very exciting news too. So get the first one, get all caught up, because there's some stories in the second book that I bring closure to some stories I left open-ended in the first book. And let me throw this warning out. My publisher said this is even scarier than the first book. And God bless her, she had her hands full with a lot of paranormal activity that happened in her office while editing my book. So God bless her for hanging in there during that. Okay, scroll past the book. You'll see the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course. I offer a 12-week online college-level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. You can enroll in it there at the website. If you want more information about the course before making that type of commitment, there is a Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course Facebook page, or just call me, reach out to me, and we'll discuss if it's the right course for you. It's a course for all you true warriors for Christ that want to know, have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, and putting up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil. If it ever comes calling for you, this is the course for you. All my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. Okay. I think that's it. I've caught you up on everything. The show, my new book, my old book, the course, and now it's time to bring out the reason why you all tuned in tonight. I've known her a long time. I consider her a good friend. I love her. I respect her. She's so talented, so gifted. And this is going to be a great show. Without further ado, brothers and sisters, please give a warm Paranormal Ministry family welcome to the one and only rock psychic herself, Chicky Hot.
Hello, everybody, including everybody behind the scenes and, of course, Sean.
You look very pretty tonight. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your busy Monday to
Thank
hang out with
you.
us. You spent the day out of town and got home just in time to do the show, so very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Very
Um,
busy.
what do I want to say to you? Other than I never really do much planning when I know you're going to be on because our conversations always take on a life of their own.
True.
But what I did was, um, I know you do like the Psychic News Network in addition to Nappin and Love's Church and
Mhm.
a bunch of other stuff, and we'll get into all of that. But you also have BeInspiredRadio.net.
Yeah.
But you threw some topics at me. Said there's some juicy topics right now. It's funny you use the word juicy because I remember we've known each other a long time.
Yes.
And I remember back in the day when you were just known as Juicy Chicky.
I don't know. That's not on Earth 4. That's like Earth 17.
I don't know if you've told John that yet, but yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but that's on Earth 17. That's where you and I originally had that. What we won't talk about that in public.
And now you're the rock psychic, but you said there's some juicy topics we cover a lot now on the Psychic News Network.
Yes.
And so I just jotted, I said, wow, those are all so cool. So I just jotted them down.
Mhm.
Something else I wanted to throw at you too. Hopefully I don't forget to remind you by the end of the show before I just start throwing topics at you. The last time you were on, you ended the show. I should have gone back and watched the show, but I didn't. But apparently you ended the show. I had mentioned that a lot of people send me prayer requests, questions about the paranormal, their own spirituality, yada, 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 things going on. But the majority, and still even today, the majority of the things that people reach out to me about nowadays, still people are feeling so scared, lonely, angry, got nothing to live for, um, feel like the world's going to end tomorrow. And I told you that, and you finished the show just throwing out your typical rock psychic, chicky hot advice to all the people out there feeling that way, what you could do to kind of turn that around. So hopefully I won't forget to remind you about that, and maybe we'll end the show like that again today. But before I just start throwing topics at you, how are you doing? John was on not too long ago.
Yes, he was. John the Vegas Seer. That's right.
He did great. I got great feedback, and I've already decided the next time I would like to have both you on together if that's possible.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. We've got that ready to go. Sure.
Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want before I just start hammering you with topics?
Okay. First and foremost, you know that we just started Psychic News a few months ago, and it's been a hit. It really has been. It's exciting. It's psychicnews.net for those of you that are not aware. And it's myself and John the Vegas Seer. He is an incredible psychic and also a street magician. He's just an incredible human being to be able to know. And I feel blessed. I really do. However, every Monday, we've got Psychic News airing, and we've got all the relays, like all the repeats, if you will. We're repeating everything all day, like what we do with you on Saturdays. It's all the shows running 24 hours, you know, of everything Sean, right? So we've got our thing going on Mondays, right? So we've got that with new episodes airing at 8 p.m. And that's when we originally were doing 8 and 9 p.m., but we were trying to build up a little bit of an archive. So now that we've done that, now we're going to have one show, and that's going to happen at 8 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. So also, we've got a big announcement to be able to make, because starting this month, now we're hitting the 15th. This is it. Day one, we're making the announcement right here live on the Paraministry Show, right? We are looking for commentators to be able to join us. You don't have to be psychic, okay? You can just be your everyday average person. And I want to be able to invite those individuals who have depression or, you know, oh my God, it's the end of the world, or suicidal, or whatever you got going on, right? I want to invite you to be a commentator. I want to hear how you view the world on Psychic News, because what we're trying to be able to do is be able to prepare you for tomorrow. And we focus on science. We focus on health and technology. We're not sitting there with the politics and all the other doom and gloom and other crap, right? But there's some things that, you know, yeah, natural nature things, So we want to be able to invite those individuals, and anybody who's out there who is interested in becoming a commentator on the show. You want to come on, okay? And you can spend the entire hour with John and myself. We're going to pre-record everything, and you can connect with us. We've got multiple platforms, even by phone if necessary. But send me an email to news@rockpsychic.com and hit me up. Let me know you're interested. We'd love to be able to have you on the show. And we want to be able to have everyday average people on the show. If you're a psychic, then that's cool too. You can offer your predictions as well. But we want to be able to give those people a chance to be heard. We want to hear what your concerns are, and we want everybody else to be able to know that too. And we're not there to be able to go on about problems, but we're going to be able to talk about how you view the world. That's what's important, because you are the people. So that is one of the big important things I wanted to be able to announce tonight.
That is very cool.
I got notes. So let's see what else. We've got the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network starting this Friday.
Oh my gosh, how long have you had that? That has been going on for so long, and it's so successful.
It is. 2009 we've been doing this since. Wow. And we have met so many wonderful people from all over the world. And we're looking forward to being able to expand that once again, because there are so many people from Europe that want to get re-involved. Who would think North America? Who cares? We Europeans are busy doing their own thing. Don't think so fast. They're very interested in what's going on here stateside. So we're going ahead and we are starting the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network. It's called Nappin Presents, and it's an audio video chat where everybody gets to be able to talk about whatever's on their mind with regards to psychic and paranormal and spiritual and all that kind of great new age stuff, or whatever works. Right? You want to bring a little bit of conspiracy in there? You can. We'll talk about it. Okay. But we're going to start at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we're doing it 7 days a week now. We used to do it only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but now we're jacking it down to 5 p.m. so our European friends can be able to join us as well. And now we have it 7 days a week. So if you're anywhere in the world, you can join us now, and you can get into it. Just go to meet.nappin, nappn.net, and you'll be in there. Or you can go to the main site and get into all the chats, which is nappin.net. So nappn.net. Hope everybody got that. So anyway, so we've got all that going on. I've got so many different things to be able to share with you. We've got the prediction database going on, and that ties into the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network, as well as Psychic News. And if you want to link to the predictions database, any psychic can add to it. Any psychic, any person that wants to make it. Or if you're not psychic and you're like, you just got a hunch on something, you can go and publish it, and it stays there forever. Wow. It's on Google servers. It's not getting deleted. So, but the beautiful thing about it is that when you write, everybody's going to know about it. That's the thing. You got to document your stuff. It's one thing to be able to say, well, I said this was going to happen. I told you so. But it's another thing when you document it. And we're focusing on the more important things in life. Not that Sally and Harry ended up getting married. We don't care about that. What we do care about is what's going to happen tomorrow, with regards to news and the world and our universe, all of these things that are so pressing and so important. And we're getting so much bunk. That's the problem in the news and the propaganda and all this other stuff that's going here stateside. So we want to be able to try to get some real solid predictions to be able to get people informed, because we need solid information. We really do. And I can do it. John can do it. Some of the best psychics that you have on your show too, Sean, you guys can be able to do it too. But we want to welcome you and be able to give you a chance to be able to be heard. I have an opening on the calendar on Be Inspired Radio. I want to be able to bring people in to be able to create a panel discussion. I have a vision. I want to be able to get a group of people in and be able to have something like this, and be able to have a whole group of people being able to discuss everything that's going on in the world and how we can be able to have a more positive understanding of what's going to happen, because we have a choice in life. We can either be able to see these new things that are coming down the pipe as negative, death, doom, gloom, and destruction, or we can say we're birthing, if you will, a new society of being able to do things a little bit more intuitively, a little bit more intelligently. And sometimes it's just like being in New York City. You have to knock down, you have to be able to take down an old decrepit building or an old decrepit system to be able to make room for a new one. So this is kind of sort of what's happening. But, there's so much conspiracy around it, and there's some scary things. People don't like change, but you have to be able to see it from the new, because forget about me and you, Sean. Forget about everybody listening. It has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
We may not like change. We may be all freaked out about it, but think about generations from now, 5, 6, 7 generations from now. Think about that. It's not going to be the same world that we all grew up in. It's going to be a bigger,
it's
better.
not the same world we grew up in right now.
Exactly. It's not. It's totally, totally not. But it's going to change, and it's going to get for the better, because now we have AI. We have a lot of wonderful things. So I don't want to go on.
They're throwing out a lot of scary stuff right now about AI, but
Yeah.
what's your take on that? And are you for that?
Okay.
You can get, you know what? If they take the show down, they take it down. If you want
no,
conspiracy on it, you have a green light to do whatever, say whatever you want to say.
I'm not worried about it. The point is with AI is that everything, AI is a tool. Okay. You go ahead, you pick up a hammer, you run through the streets with a hammer. Okay. Some people are going to say, oh, he's on the way to go do something, with a hammer, to go fix something. Right. And hi, see people commenting. Thank you. So there's another person who will see somebody running down the street with a hammer and call the police. Some Karen is going to freak out and think, the guy's running down. Who's he going to attack with the hammer? And meanwhile, the other guy is like, oh, he's late for work. He's got to get to his construction job. It's all in perception. But AI is a tool. It's a very important tool that we are going to be able to need to be able to bring us forward into the upcoming revolution. We're moving into, what is this? The 4th industrial revolution. This is very important. This time that we're witnessing is very important. So I think that AI is a blessing as long as people don't abuse it. I feel that they are installing fail safes to be able to prevent that from happening. We're covering a lot of this on Psychic News. So I feel blessed, to say the very least, to be able to be alive during this time. I don't think that AI is a threat. I really don't, because AI right now, in its infancy, is only as smart as the people who program it. That's where we are right now. It's not smarter than us. It's only got the available information that's on the internet, and that's it. That's all it has.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I don't. This is. I don't really. It is what it is. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
I let go and let God and just roll with it. You mentioned psychics. You mentioned napping.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people if you hear anybody in my, clergy say my discernment, I always tease them and go, well, you're psychic. No, I'm not. They don't want to say psychic, but that's what discernment is. They're getting messages from the Holy Spirit. You're psychic. But they don't like to use that term, and that's okay. God bless them. I don't use the word psychic either. I use discernment, and I get discernment from a lot of different things. But I talk to people are all over the place. I talk to psychics that channel. They're trance channelers, and they get
mediums.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I get people that predict things, and they say that they tap into source.
Yeah, like a clairvoyant. Sure.
You have made some eye-opening, jaw-dropping, spot-on predictions about a variety of things over the years.
Yeah.
What do you tap into if there is anything you tap into, or if it's a trade secret and you don't want to say, that's cool, but if you can say where does this come from for you?
Okay. There is a terminology that I like to use. It's called Gestalt, and it is of all. It is all consciousness on this planet. And there is let's just say, also ancient wisdom. There's also ancient wisdom that goes into numerology. It goes also into whether or not something was man-made or something happened naturally. Sometimes humans tamper with things and then they say, oh, it was nature, and it wasn't. And there's evidence there. There's a lot of evidence there. There's inklings. But it's interesting because the way I work is I'm what you call a time shifter, amongst the many other things that I can do, but primarily it's time shifting. And I coined that term decades ago. So it's the ability to be able to connect into any human being or a group of human beings, preferably one-to-one on any date in time. And I communicate telepathically and empathically, and I communicate with that person to be able to get information from the future.
So
That's part.
you do buy into. I do too. I think this has all happened before.
Yeah.
Many believe that, once we die, that's it. And even some that believe, we do go on, but it's in a different dimension, a different realm of existence. But everybody refers to the tapestry of life, the fabric of time, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm. There's more.
I do believe that we're on a certain type of a loop, and I do believe in the past, the present, and the future.
Definitely.
And we're all going to know all the answers one day, but I find it all pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Alternate universes and
oh yeah, there's more. There's a story I want to tell you.
Go for it.
Oh, it's creeper-tastic. I got to be able to tell you. So this goes back about maybe 2 weeks ago. And I'm in Buffalo, New York. And you guys all know I'm from the Niagara Falls regional area. And I'm driving around to Buffalo, coming back from an appointment. And John and I are in the car. And I'm getting like all these weird, sometimes I get flash visions. And sometimes I get more information than what I need. And we've been having solar flares. I've been under a lot of stress. And I don't know about the other psychics or the other people out there. Okay, but I'm going to mention something to you. Something they picked up in the news over the past week that there's been an odd sound coming from the upper atmosphere. They didn't identify what the sound was. I haven't heard it. But what I've been hearing in my mind's eye is wah, wah, wah. Now, if anybody else has been hearing that, email me, news@rockpsychic.com. I want you on the show. I want to talk to you.
You know what's funny?
What?
You say that, there was times where I thought I was hearing my own pulse in your ears. Some people do that.
Yes.
But then if I stop and I really concentrate on, is that what that is? I realize sometimes it's not. And it's very, very much like what you just described.
We're going to have to talk more about that because there's something going on because the cats are hearing it also. The animals are hearing it. So there's more. Something weird happened. So we were having solar flares on this one particular day. And solar flares are radiation that comes from our sun that slams into our planet in the form of a corneal mass ejection. And it's this plasma. Bam, hits the planet and it stresses humans out. So if you guys have been feeling exceptionally stressed over the past few weeks, it's because we're entering a new solar cycle in 2025. And we're just starting to see the starts of all of this. Now, this is
I hate to interrupt you. Why aren't we being warned about this stuff anymore? Do you remember?
We are. It's in the news. It's in the news every day, Sean. Lift up the rock. Come on. Get out from under.
They would say, listen, if you have issues with your computer or your phone, your cell or whatever, we're having flares. And I guess I don't. The thing is I'm trying not to watch much news anymore because it's so depressing.
Don't watch the news. Just go to maybe, I don't know, go to Space Weather or go to news.google.com or something like that. Pick the New York Post. It's funny. It's satire, okay? But there's news on there, okay? So the thing is that I'm driving through Buffalo and I get this weird feeling. I'm sitting at a traffic light and in my mind's eye, I'm hearing like the tail end of when a fire engine siren is coming to a stop. It's like, whoa, at the very end. And I'm like, what the frick is that? Now, John and I are very much in tune with one another. And what I pick up on, he picks up on. We're linked in there, So I said, do you hear that? He goes, yeah, it sounds like, whoa, right? And I'm like, that's exactly what I hear. And I'm sticking my fingers in my ears. I'm like, am I hallucinating? What the frick is this? Right. So I'm looking around, I'm sitting at the traffic light. Is there a fire engine coming? Like, that's a fire engine. He goes, no. That's the old bomb sound. And I'm like, it's not the old bomb sound, for the bomb sirens. That's not what that is. No, that's a fire engine. I'm telling you, we're looking everywhere. There's no freaking fire engine. Nowhere. I roll down the windows. I got the moonroof open. It's not there, but we had it for like a second. I'm like, the frick is that? Right. So later we go maybe 4 or 5 blocks or whatever. And then John says, do do you see that? And I go, yeah, the sky's red, but the sky wasn't really red. It was blue, but there was that overlay, that something, that was affecting psychic vision. And we were having like a real-time vision, but it was like looking through an acetate of what was going to be, or maybe another dimension. We didn't know what it was. We had no freaking clue. No idea. So I guess like a week and a half later, we are in Buffalo again, and we're done with our appointments. We're done doing everything we got to do. We just said, let's go take a stroll in the zoo. Let's go to the Buffalo Zoo. So we drive down the road, and then we're maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 cars before the traffic light, before we have to turn into the park to go to the zoo. And then we hear, rah, 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 this fire engines. There's smoke bellowing out of the building across the street. There's glass smashing. There's a boom. There's a whole bunch of things. Now, mind you, I want you to know, on the day that I saw or experienced the fire engine, I also had a psychic vision. I forgot to mention this. There was a brick building with a big glass window, and there was fire bellowing out of it. And I went ahead and I texted one of the members of the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network just to document it. And I go, this is what I'm seeing. There's an explosion. There's fire. It's a brick and it's glass. What am I going to do? Right. So sure enough, we get boxed in because we pulled the car over. We're like, well, if we can't get into the park, let's just park where we are and we'll walk. It's right across the street. We got boxed in by all these fire engines, and I'm standing there and I see fire. I see fire trucks, and there's people running all over the place. There's pandemonium. I'm like, this is what I saw in my vision. This is what it was. It's in my face now. This is serious. So I start taking pictures to document it. And of course, I thought to myself, let me call the news. I'll do the whole Peter Parker thing and see if anybody wants to buy some pictures, I'm like opportunist, baby. So then the very next evening, John and I are coming back from, I guess, the southern tier of Western New York. And we're driving, and the sky, it's coming in towards sunset. It's like maybe 7:30 or something. And the sky is completely red. There's a ball. Okay. And the ball looks like the moon. It's not the moon. It's the sun behind a red sky. We ended up, this is like a week and a half later, we ended up getting all the fires from Canada, and all the smoke came down. And out in the Southwest, when those fires come in, the sky turns red. John didn't know that, though. He just moved here from Vegas. He doesn't know. So we don't get wildfires up here. We don't get smoky skies up here. This is a rare thing. Who ever heard of this? But there it was, the red sky with the ball. He's like, is that the moon? And he says, get the sky map. And I go, that's the sun. Look, it's the west. That's the sun. The sun is setting. That is the sun you are looking at. As God is my witness. And I says, 2 days in a row, back to back. And I'm like, what did we just witness? What? That was potent, because I've never had that experience with another person where we're seeing the same psychic vision at the same exact time. But I can tell everybody out there, you're not crazy, because this is going to start happening to a lot of us more frequently, especially the people that are psychically attuned. You're going to start getting things because we're getting hit with these corneal mass ejections, and they affect humans. This is what they do. They stress you out. The higher your stress, the higher the intuitive or psychic ability is, because it's very stressful. You don't want to get hit with any more stress. So your body is naturally picking up its sixth sense to pick up on what is the danger. If you're bombarded with radiation particles, yeah, that's a little stressful. I'm going to stop talking. that was a lot. I'm sorry.
That's craziness. Yeah, that's okay. I'm thinking about me watching more, try to find some type of weather. I'll just go to the Weather Channel, I guess. They don't have news on there, I don't think, but they talk about the weather, because I haven't gotten any of these solar stuff. But when you went to the zoo, and it's funny you bring that up, because I've got a lot of outdoor cats here. I've got a dog, and they have been behaving really different. Even my wife has picked up on it. Mm-hmm. They've been behaving very different. And we both work at an animal hospital. I'm a vet tech. She's a
and the animals are getting more sick animals. They're puking, they're dizzy, they've got and plus the allergies are way worse too. The animals are sneezing, they're getting sick, they're swallowing a whole bunch of snot and puking. I don't mean to be gross, but hey, we all got pets, right?
Well, what did you pick up on at the zoo? Did you ever get getting into the zoo?
Well, I didn't really talk to the animals. I mean, I do talk to animals, but I didn't talk to them about that stuff. I was trying to be very positive because, it's a difficult situation. They're not in their natural habitat. And a lot of them were happy. We were there. The zoo was quiet. There was maybe a dozen people in there. It was the middle of the afternoon, a few hours before they closed. And I tried to keep it, nice. I was talking to the giraffes, and I was showing them YouTube videos. There's this 2 giraffes. I'm like, check this out. Look at this. I'll make a video, you guys. Okay, watch this. I made it back. They're like, technology. Had a lot of fun. But I want to be able to go backwards for a second here with the solar flare stuff. And I want to avoid the doom and gloom, but I want to be able to remind everybody that the internet that we know right now, there's a new version of the internet that's coming out. And it's got to be able to get pushed properly. You can't just one day turn on your computer and go, oh, new version of internet. Okay. How do I do this? Everything's got to start over. Okay. So I've got a number of predictions that I had gone and spoken about on Psychic News. And between now and 2024, we are going to experience a lot of solar flares. If you're driving around and your favorite radio station blips out and it goes away and you can't hear it, you're being hit with a solar flare. We're having more blackouts. We're having more internet outages. Every single day this week, my internet has crapped out. And every single time I call the internet company and I say to them, oh, the internet's down again. Is it my equipment? What's going on here? They go, no, it's us. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. And they'd say it's a node, and these nodes are getting fried from the solar flares. The cable modem, or what is it? The cable nodes, is what they are. So if you lose your TV signals, if you're using your, not rabbit ears, but your digital antennas and stuff like that, radio and TV signals are going to get disrupted. But there's more to this, because on the Psychic News Network, I have a prediction sitting out there, and it is for February 23rd, 2024. Originally, I said it was 2025. I made a typo, but here I am on your show. I'm correcting it. And I proved myself 3 times on this reading. And any of the psychics out there, I want you to be able to read into this also, because this is not just me saying, you're reading, I did it right. No, I want you guys to spread the word. You got until February 23rd, 2024. Tell your friends, tell your family, all of you out there as well, including you, Sean. I want you guys to be able to print out your digital photos. I want you to print out your bank statements. I want you to print out everything that's important, because solar flares, we get a strong enough solar flare, it's going to destroy your computers. It's going to destroy banking servers that are not properly set up either for this kind of radiation and these types of electromagnetic static events. So I want you guys to be able to know that we are about to be able to enter the technological reset now. So we had the Great Reset, and that has begun. And they always say, build back better, build back better. What are we building back better, darling? Welcome to the 4th Industrial Revolution. How else are we going to be able to introduce it to the world unless we shut everything down and blame it on a solar flare? From what I have read, I'm going to try not to be too conspiracious. You get the point. Okay.
You can if you want.
Okay. All I'm going to say right now is that there is going to be a solar flare. For those of you who understand the meaning of the number 23, okay, I want you guys to be able to remember it was August 23rd of 2011. I predicted it 2 years prior, and I said that we were going to have an earthquake that was going to rock from the Carolinas right up to Canada. And that was August 23rd. And I was absolutely correct on the exact date. Now, there's a lot to be said, because on the 37th latitude, we had the Fukushima earthquake back in March of 2011. We also had the Trinidad, Colorado earthquake on, what was that now? August 22nd. the day before. All of them are happening on the 37th latitude. Why? Okay. There's a lot of mineral to be mined there. Now, 23 is a very important number, as most of you already know that are versed either in biblical or in numerology. Sean, do you recall 23?
I do not.
Okay. 23 has a lot to do with human influence. I'm just going to sum it up to that. And there's going to be some people out to say, no, it doesn't. But if you look at the root of the issue, beyond what the surface meaning is, it all goes back to. So I'm going to say that I feel there's some human influence because it's been published in the news. We on Earth are creating suns. We are creating suns in laboratories throughout our planet. We are creating black holes in laboratories throughout our planet. We talk about CERN, particle colliders out in Switzerland. Well, I'll have you know that there is more than one particle collider. They are littered all over our planet, as well as all of these other laboratories. The things that we do on this planet affect everything in our solar system, especially when we are working with dark matter and plasma. I'm going to leave that right there. And any scientist wants to argue that with me, bring it.
I'm going to ask you a weird question. I try not to ask you too many weird questions, but
It's okay. I got a lot of weird answers.
I think it kind of has something to do with what all the stuff, everything you just said to me. First of all, it's very scary. Everything that you said is scary.
Why?
It is what it is. It just,
why? We need to make room. It's like knocking down a building.
Scary,
you
scary in
the old,
terms
bring in
of
the new.
like, I don't fear death. I know that there's something more.
Just have everything printed out. That's it. Just to get a good printer and print it out. Yeah.
You mentioned, everything getting wonky and wacky. Let me ask your opinion on something here. I was so convinced at one time, Sharon didn't see it. I was the only one seeing it. I was so convinced that either I was getting ripped off by my cable company, that this super step upgrade high speed package I got so I could do my podcast and stuff, they were ripping me off on, or I was convinced my TV, my brand new big giant screen, flat screen, was taking a dump. One of the two that was causing, for lack of a better term, while I'm watching TV, Sharon doesn't see it, but I'm seeing like a Matrix scene happening on my TV. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds funny. Sean, did you just watch the recent movie out about the Matrix? I loved them all. I watched them all, yes. But I'm seeing something similar to that. So I make an appointment for a tech to come out from the cable company. I said, please send one of your techs that have been around a long time, who not only knows about the cable and what you guys are sending me and my equipment, but that knows about TVs too and can tell me if my TV is about to take a dump. But I was so convinced that it was one of the two. We even went and got another TV. So I have a TV sitting next to my TV that I'm not even using yet, because I was so sure I was going to have to throw one of them out and use the other TV. So there it sits. But I'm seeing this. The guy comes out. He's outside doing all kinds of work. He ended up putting a new weather box over all the cable fittings, changing the cable fittings out, doing some new stuff, yada, yada, yada. Gave me a brand new, whatever this box is here that I can't even touch because it's so hot, upgraded cable thing for my network and my TV and all. Goes and gives my TV a once over. Your TV's fine. It's working great. I'll buy that new one off you if you give me a good buy. No. Am I having a vision, or is there something going on with the solar flare thing, or what is this matrixing thing that I'm seeing?
It's interference. Okay. Now, rewind. Go back to the 1970s. Okay. Now, when you would see that on your old school TV, you'd walk over to the TV, you'd grab a hold of the tuner, and you'd twist it a little bit. That's it. That's it. So what's happening is the signal's getting degraded. That's all it is. And that can happen from numerous things. I mean, this is an electronic engineering type of question. But all it is signal degradation. And maybe other people don't see it, but some people's eyes have more cones or visual. It's kind of like the dress challenge that we see on the internet. Some people say that dress is gold. Some people say that dress is blue. but it's because of our eyes and how we see. But that's all it is. You're seeing some signal degradation. I remember back, I'm going to date myself back, way back. Okay. In the 1970s, I would hear, I would know if someone had the TV on, even if the volume was off. I would be, even I'd walk into someone's house and I would know the TV is on, because my senses, my perception, my hearing was so, like, I guess, fine-tuned, if you will, that there was a sound that all TVs made. It was a high-pitched whistle. It was like, but it was higher than that. And I could hear it. And I'd walk in, and I made a challenge with all of my friends. And I said to them, I bet I can walk in your house. It doesn't matter where your TV is. It could be upstairs. It could be down in the basement. It could be on the other back side of the house. The volume could be all the way down. And I'll tell you if the TV's on or not. And every single time we did it, I was 100% right. But it's sensitivity, all of our five senses. It's all within our human capability. So it's not anything so supernatural. You're just a little bit more tuned into it. Like right now, I'm looking at my monitor, okay? And I can see the pixels. Does that mean it's a matrix? Is it a supernatural kind of like, am I plugged into something? No, I'm just a little bit more tuned into it, And if there's a blown out pixel, it drives me crazy.
Well, that's good to know, because I was starting to think I was going crazy.
Nah.
Let me look at my list here real quick, because I've got about 10 minutes left with you, and I'm so dying to listen to what you have to say to all these people that even today, so many people reach out to me and just scared, lonely, sad.
Yeah.
Think the world's going to end tomorrow. So let me look at my list here real quick. Okay, I think this is a good one. Somebody wanted to know, somebody saw John on here and somebody's seen you on here before. And they said to the question, they realize that you and John are together, but you both, and you complement each other so well, but
Thank
you
you.
are both very different.
Yes.
And they want to know, what kind of topics spark a healthy debate between you two?
Interesting. That's a tough question. We don't really debate.
I guess debate's a weird word, but
yeah,
I asked him if he believed in ghosts, and he said yes. And I know you don't. I know you don't work with spirit much.
I do to somewhat of an extent, but it's kind of like that whole multiverse thing. And I believe that if you're looking into another dimension, it can drive you mad after a while. This is the reason why so many psychic mediums experience health ailments, because they're so locked into other dimensions constantly. You're losing your reality of here and now. And it drives the mind insane, and we have an imbalance between the body and the mind. So I do have belief that they do exist, but they're in another dimension, and we can reach out to them using tools. I like to use tools. I don't like to be able to use my natural ability, because it can lead to madness. And you have to be very careful and cautious about that, because this is where, people will go and they'll say, oh, I believe in ghosts. I've seen this. I did this. I did this. Next thing you know, they're in the psychiatrist's chair and they're prescribing them happy pills, and they're like, oh, I'm not well, and it's because you lose your reality. And this is a lesson that I've been teaching some people who have been tapping into the multiverse. And I go, don't intentionally go looking for it, because the further out from this reality, this realm that you go exploring in, and you bring that information back, it can affect your vibration and who you are in this realm, in this reality here today. Not only that, but it can take you out of vibration from everybody and everything that you love. So, because the knowledge you bring back affects you and it changes your vibration. So let that be caution, and really take that to heart, because it can pack a punch. It really can. I've been warning people about this for decades. I'm like, it's fun to be able to do it. It's, entertaining, and you can prove a point, and you can be able to maybe bring a smile to someone's face. But what about your own mental health as a medium? You need to do you. Otherwise, if you're no good for you and you can't take care of you, and you're getting depressed and messed up from this, then you shouldn't be doing it. I don't think anybody should be doing it, really. Let the dead rest. That's what my humble opinion is. You know,
What do you think? What do you think of the like if let's say there's I don't buy into this. I believe in heaven. Uh, but let's say there is nothing after this. Well, then it doesn't matter because after if there's nothing, then you
yeah.
won't know because you'll just be done.
Hmm.
Um, but what do you think about the afterlife? What do you think happens to us after we die?
I think that we return the source in a sense. And this is um, something that freaks a lot of people out. I wish I could be able to show a picture of it right now. But imagine if you can be able to magnify fibers in general, magnified fibers. You can go to Google Images or something like that and type in magnified fibers. And what you will see is a mesh or a weave of messy fibers. And what I believe is that our essence, if you will, leaves our meat sack, meat shell, and we connect in with the universe and all the other dark matter and light matter and all the other stuff that's there in our existence. And it settles in to these fibers. These fibers could be part of maybe the ground. It could be maybe a blanket, whatever it is. And you remain there as just a particle of energy until a set time where you're able to, I guess, figure out how to get out of there or to be able to be reborn again. I remember this. I do remember. And there are things when I was in the crib, I remember, and I think I've mentioned this on your show before, is I remember being able to be, an infant in the crib and kept reminding myself, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. And these are things. And I'll tell all of you, go out there, go look at that image. Okay. Magnified fibers. And some of you might be thrilled by like, oh my God, now I remember I've been jolted. I'm remembering. Some of you will end up having a panic attack and be like, how the hell do I get out of this? And it'll drive your anxiety wild. So because you couldn't get out, you couldn't figure it out because you were so lost in the I'm trapped. I'm not in the world I was in before, rather than being able to figure out how to be able to move forward.
Do you believe in past lives and that we have an opportunity, whether it be our choice or not, to come back and do this all over again, or
Yeah,
do we do
sure.
do we have many lives?
I believe that we do. I believe that we do in multiple senses. Because when we are infants before the age of 2, that is one life. There is another life that exists between ages 2 and 9 where you are accepting your programming and your core information. And then you've got your third life, which is after age 9, which is 10 and forward for the rest of your life until your senior years. And if you develop dementia, that's your fourth life. Some people get it, some people don't, and it's just a matter of what you believe, and again, if you can go backwards in time, you can get flash visions. I remember being in Truro, Nova Scotia, and I knew I'd never been there before in my entire life, which is before the internet. And I remember being able to go and drive through there, and I knew where everything was. I knew where the park with the waterfall was. I didn't even know there was a park with a waterfall there, for heaven's sakes. I knew where the cobblestone streets were. I knew where I lived prior in Nova Scotia. All of these things. I went to the exact house to where I lived. And then I says, okay, now let's go down here. Go over here. We're going to go to the park. All right, I'm going to take you to a waterfall. And my boyfriend at the time says to me, well, how do you know there's a waterfall here? I go, I just know, okay? Come on. And we both climbed the waterfall.
Well, I knew this was going to happen, and I've just got a few minutes left before I have to say goodbye to you. And I've got a couple of things on my mind here that I know if I ask them, we're going to run really late.
It's all good.
I'm just going to have you back and have you back with John. But in just a couple of minutes I have left with you, remind everybody the weather's, we're into spring. Summer's just, I guess, Memorial Day is the
Yeah.
official kickoff of summer. You live at Niagara Falls. Let everybody know if
Yes.
you're still doing the Niagara
We are.
retreats.
Yes, and John's going to be joining me. He is going to be doing the retreats with me. So anybody that wants to come to Niagara Falls, New York, we're going to be out on Goat Island, and we are going to be doing spiritual retreats. It includes a paranormal investigation at Niagara Falls after dark, and that's all very exciting. There's not a set schedule. We are taking people out one at a time, so you get our dedicated attention. In addition to that, I'm doing phone and video readings on rockpsychic.com. You can reserve some time. And yeah, we've got so much good stuff. Sundays at 1 p.m., we've got Spiritual Seekers on the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network and Love's Church in the meet.nappin.net page, NAPPN. And then we've got the Be Inspired Radio as well. That's happening 7 days a week, beinspiredradio.net. And, well, the things that I mentioned earlier on, I'm going down my notes, so forgive me keeping on looking down, just trying to be able to get everything in there. So, yeah, that's all. That's all, folks.
I don't care what walk of life you're from, what religious background, what nationality you are. I can't think of who wouldn't thoroughly enjoy a Niagara Falls retreat because, I mean, from just so much energy there and
There is. Yeah.
history and
Yeah.
just so many people of indigenous
Mm-hmm.
that live there and have died there, people that have died going over the falls and stunts.
Oh, yeah.
You've got just what a cool place to have a spiritual retreat, regardless of what walk of life you're from or religious belief system you have in place or not. You can go there and have it, whatever, take from it what you will. But
Indeed.
what a place.
Yes, we are going to have a mini group meditation as well. There, we'll take you right out to the absolute edge of the rapids, right behind the falls, and we can be able to sit there and be able to do like a small group meditation, and you will feel the energy of Niagara Falls while doing this meditation, like nothing you have ever experienced in your entire life. Mark my words on that.
I love you. I
love you
respect
too.
you. Give John a big hug for me. The next time you're on, it'll be with you and John together.
Sounds good. Thank you. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And thank you to everyone for being able to stay tuned in too. That's fabulous. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of your Monday evening. And I'll be throwing some dates at you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Indeed. Thank you so much. You as well. Stay blessed, one and all.
Good night, Chicky.
Good night.
Chicky Hot, the rock psychic, back in the day, aka Juicy Chicky. Oh man, I love Chicky. Yeah, we'll have her and John on together. That'll be very, very cool. Okay, I will be here this coming Friday with an all new show, May 19th. Oh, you're gonna love this guy, Biggie's BFF, Mr. Cryptozoology. Carl, what's up? Carl Sup will be here this Friday the 19th. Thank you to my co-producers, Zach and Adrian Clayton. Couldn't do this show without them. CommunityPayItForward.us. CommunityPayItForward.us. Go there. Just go there and experience CommunityPayItForward.us. That's all I'll say to you. The church I belong to, usocc.org. usocc.org. If you want to attend night prayer, which is every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, go to bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. The link to night prayer is there. It's a great way to end your day. If you're interested in Bible study, which is every Sunday and Wednesday afternoons at 5 p.m. Pacific, the easiest way, since you're already here on Facebook with me, is go to the United States Old Catholic Church Clergy and Parishioners Facebook page. It's always streamed live there. That's a cool time too, Bible study. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to PACT, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel, for all these networks simulcasting my show. God bless you. Thank you to Chicky Hot's network, BeInspiredRadio.net. She re-airs, audio re-airs of my shows, Saturdays all day. Plus, she's got a lot of other cool stuff there. Old Art Bell reruns, and everybody that's on her Napa network has shows there. So that's a cool place to go and hang out. It is bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. And it's a poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say goodnight. Some of these I don't get. And I don't know if this is a joke. This is more of a, I might pull another one out. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I get it now. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you all so very much for spending an hour out of your busy Monday evenings to hang out with me. I'll see you all Friday. Until then, you're all on the prayer list. I love you all. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. Peace.